welcome to episode 2
Yeah.
of Future Rock Legends. And got the video working this time.
Let's hope.
Oh, we do. I made sure of it. So you can see our, living room here is actually...
Of guitars and basses.
It was like this long before we decided to do a podcast, but it seems quite appropriate now.
Yeah, of course.
So, I feel like part of this whole journey of us getting enough courage, I'm not sure I want to say courage, but maybe motivation to go into this is that we've been really speaking our truth about everything, right?
Right.
We've been telling
some more than others, but
some more than others. I am tired of being misinterpreted on things. But that part of speaking that truth is both, being negative about things and, telling people, this is really how it is.
Right.
But it's also giving people credit when credit is due, right?
Exactly.
Because that's something that we don't do a lot in society anymore either.
Right. Nobody gives, their respects, if you will.
Yeah.
So.
And I feel like I need to mention this earlier in all of this that we're talking and not, because I think it's really important to note that for me, music was brought into my life because of a friend.
Right.
And I think it's really important. I hope that my kids one day will be able to be that influence on somebody.
Right.
And change their life trajectory,
Exactly.
For me, it was my best friend, Joe Ford, because when Joe entered into the scene, really the first time we ever hung out, dude came to my house, picked up a guitar that I had from a yard sale, and started playing Good Riddance by Green Day on it.
Right.
Coolest possible thing anybody could have done in front of me at that very moment. And I was just like, what the hell? I didn't know that 8th graders could do that. You know what I mean? And it just blew my mind, and it sent me down this crazy rabbit hole. I was into music before that. I bought the guitar.
Right.
And I'd taken guitar lessons before, and I'd played tuba and all that kind of stuff. But it wasn't until Joe came that I was just
that was rock and roll.
I'm obsessed.
Right.
You know what I mean? And I'll dive deeper into our musical journey, but I give Joe fair credit for our family's musical prowess, because had it not been for that, I wouldn't be this excited. And I'm not trying to blow up his ego too much, but I will give him credit for one other thing that he was adamant about. He's been right about a lot of things, and I don't like saying that about my friends necessarily, that they're right about things, but we go back. I'm giving him the credit. When we first started, he was always big on harmony, and I think he said there was something his uncle had told him was if you look back, it's the top hits or whatever, there's a certain percentage of songs that didn't have harmony and made it. And it was such a minuscule amount.
Right.
Joe was harmony is just
the key to everything.
The key, and I was that's so dumb. I just remember thinking back, you don't need harmony, whatever. And then at one point our roles got switched, right? Where I became the lead singer, and Joe was an amazing guitar player and also had an amazing ear for singing, because he's went to school for singing.
Vocal, yeah.
And he was starting to hit the harmony, and I was just that transformed a whole, that brought that next level, because it was you could see the emotion the audience was hitting or getting, when we were hitting those harmonies, and that was just amazing. And then when Joe left the band, I had to find somebody that could try to do that.
Right.
And
Not replace him necessarily, but someone that could be equal to that.
Right. So I went out and I looked, and I found Mike King, who's an amazing guitar player, and he had an amazing voice.
Right.
But Mike couldn't do harmony at the time, and I couldn't do harmony at the time. So we had to go hire somebody to teach us how to sing harmony. We hired Doug Burney. And so we went out, and he taught Mike, and Mike kind of got it all of a sudden. It just clicked for him, and it still didn't click for me then. But because of Joe's influence on our harmony, and me realizing that was such an important
key
aspect of it, Mike and I were able to go on with IR to go win this battle of the bands that we had no business even fucking being in, much less winning. And it's because our harmonies were so fucking on point, and you missed it.
I know, I missed it.
You missed it. It's terrible.
I know.
But I'll dive more into my musical journey another time. I I want to say like I'm not anything special to write home about. You know what I mean? Like I've done cool things, but I feel like my biggest achievement is yet to come, and I think it's with my children, and
Right.
that's why I'm going out on a limb here,
And we're going so
and we're going so hard on this
right, so hard
because
on it.
nobody's just going to hand you anything. You know,
Right.
we have to go out and get it.
And we see that they have this talent, so we might as well like harness it and like do what we can to help them get to where they need to be musically. So
Absolutely. So I'll stop. Joe is still my best friend. The kids actually call him
Uncle Joe.
Uncle Joe. And they still consider him like the pinnacle of musical opinions.
Anytime they have any question about music and we don't seem to know the answer, if like we're
Have you
trying
asked
to
Uncle
find,
Joe?
or like if we're trying to find that harmony or whatever, we're like, hey, what note is that, or what like, where is that on the scale? But like, call Uncle Joe. Like, go ask him. He's gonna know.
Yeah, and they want me to send everything to him. I don't bombard him with everything. But that like for a while it was like anytime Brian would play like a new note on the bass, he'd be like, "Can we send this to Uncle Joe?"
We're like, Uncle Joe's not gonna want to see all this, but we have them if you want to see them, Uncle Joe.
But we will stop the Joe Ford fluff and really go on to Ella's whole thing. So
Yes, we said we would do the second episode on
yeah, our wild
the wild one,
wild one.
the wild card.
So Ella was like another one where I felt like I was crazy
Right.
because at the beginning she was 6 months old, and I remember sitting or laying rather on my stomach across from her. You know, she was doing tummy time or whatever,
Right.
and she hit out like a rhythm with her hands, and I hit a rhythm back to her, and then she copied my rhythm. So I did a different one, and then she copied it back. And I remember going to get you because I was like, "Am I crazy?"
You're like, this didn't just happen, right? And I was like, I don't know, I'd have to see it. And I went and watched it and was like, okay, you know what? Like she did just copy what it is that you did. I'm like, maybe that's
But we just kind of
normal.
chalked it up to coincidence, or like,
Or
I
like,
mean, it's
who knows?
whatever. It's not that.
I mean, she's been watching her brother, so like you just never know. So
Yeah, and that's something that's always been part of her too. Is she was not verbal as quickly as Brian was because Brian would speak for her.
because he was so verbal that he was like, no, 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 Ella wants this, or Ella wants that, or Ella doesn't want to do this, and we're like, well, we'll never know what Ella truly wanted because he just spoke for her. So, I mean,
But,
it even still kind of rings true to this day for the most part. She's sticking up for herself more, but he will still,
but she learned a
sometimes
lot
speak for
just by sitting back and watching him because I remember he was learning, those languages.
yes.
He had gotten this thing where he just loved to count to 10 in different languages. So
And
we
we
were like,
like put
okay,
out
let's
this little
find
thing
how
on
many we can.
Facebook, and yeah, and
I think he got up to like 9 or something.
no, it was like 7.
7? Okay.
I think it was
But
7.
without even like directly teaching it to her, just by osmosis, she
learned
learned
them all, too.
all of them also and could do it too. So
Like-
Brian's over here showing off, and she's in the back, just like
Like also doing
Also
it, but
doing
like
it,
not
but
getting
not-
any credit for it. And then she's like, one day she was like, "Hey guys, I can do it too," and everyone's like, "No, you can't." And then she did it, and then everyone's like, "Oh, how'd you learn that?" She goes,
She won't do anything on command though. Like if we
Right.
would have asked her, "Hey, learn this and then perform this,"
"She wouldn't have."
she wouldn't have. There was a point in time where she wouldn't do anything unless I gave her $1.
I remember that. I forgot about that.
I was like, she's a fucking professional musician because I can't get her to sing unless I give her $1.
I forgot about that.
So
And then we have to do like that reverse psychology on her, which like we don't love doing, but like, oh, even now, like we'll be like, "Oh, I bet you can't hit that note," or "I bet you can't sing that harmony," and then she'll be like, "Oh yeah, I
I bet
can."
mom can do it better than you.
And she's like, "Well, no, 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 I can do it." And then that's when she ends up doing it, but like, she won't do it unless there's something in it for her.
Yeah. And I'm not sure that's something I want to work on necessarily because I mean, look, she should be paid for her art.
Okay.
But the next thing that I noticed with her is like she was always, because she wasn't as verbal, she was always making sound. And it was always humming or like, I don't want to say screaming, but screaming.
There was a lot of screaming, screeching.
But it was tonal. You know what I mean? So like,
Right.
I remember singing a pitch and then she would come and match me.
Right.
And this was like while I was changing her diaper. You know what I mean? And we would do that just over and over and over and over and over.
Yeah.
And I wasn't thinking anything of it, but like, it's probably, helpful ear training.
Probably.
I was just trying to not go crazy at the time.
You were like screaming back at her.
Exactly.
Low key, you know?
Um, but I mean, that's kind of how she learns things, is just through osmosis, right? Like,
Right.
we can't directly teach her anything. And
Yeah.
we've tried to teach her piano. We can't teach her piano.
Nope.
But she can teach herself piano.
Yep.
And she just walked up one day and just started playing Somewhere Over the Rainbow.
Yep.
And then she also made a mashup of Somewhere Over the Rainbow into Seven Nation Army.
My favorite.
And it was like,
because she heard
it all came from her head. You know what I mean? This is what she just does.
She like heard that the one note from Somewhere Over the Rainbow was the ending note was the same note as the start of Seven Nation Army, and she just was like, I'm gonna go from the one directly into the other. There's no pause, nothing, just mash up.
I'm sure we have that clip, right?
Oh, I'm sure.
All right, we can put that here.
I'm sure. I'll have to find it. But I'm sure.
Okay. And then around this same time, I guess, she started getting really into singing, and she got into the Presidents of the United States of America,
Yes.
Peaches. She fucking loved that song.
Yeah, well, I mean, she loved Lump too, but
yeah, but she would
was
belt
like,
it.
Obsessed.
And that was where like she started belting right around that time.
Kelly Clarkson.
And Kelly Clarkson, since she'd been gone,
she was really into that one.
She would belt that one. So we were like, okay, girl's got a voice, and we actually have a video of her in preschool singing with the crowd, and you can hear how loud she is
yes,
compared to everybody else.
They're like Christmas
she's like
pageant, if you will,
doe-eyed,
like,
and just singing at the top of her lungs.
Her eyes are wide.
She is louder than the entire.
And all the kids are starting to like look at her like, why are you so loud? And like,
it's hilarious. But
totally unfazed.
We will put that one right here.
Yep.
And then, so we knew she could like belt, you know, and she started, we started listening to 90s. We always listened to 90s.
We always started listening to 90s.
Ironic by Alanis Morissette was just on repeat, it seemed, on one of the XM stations that we were listening to.
Right.
And I always had a hard time hitting the high notes then. So I would harmonize instead. And Ella would start listening to my harmony, and I guess somewhere along the line, I stopped singing, and she kept the harmonizing going.
Right.
I was like, is she singing the harmony? I'm like, no, I'm probably hearing it wrong. You know what I mean? Like, I'm so used to hearing it in my head or whatever.
Right.
And then one day you were on the way back from somewhere with the kids, and you were listening to Wonderwall
by Oasis. We were on our way back from her ballet class, and I remember because it was dark, and I couldn't see her. I couldn't see her face, but we didn't have the radio up super loud, but like I could hear her, and I was like, wait, was that like in the song or was that her? So I turned it down a little bit, and I was like, was that you? And she was like, yeah, I'm making it pretty. I was like, well, what did you do? She goes, I'm just making it pretty. Like nothing crazy. It was just like, she just very matter of fact, I'm just making it pretty. I was like, I'm pretty sure you're hitting the harmony. And she was like, no, making it pretty. And I was like, okay, well, can you do it again? No. Oh, okay. Well, let's go ahead and just keep listening to the song then. So, of course, like every responsible parent, we're at a stoplight. I pull out my phone. I put it on my lap because I was like, nobody is going to believe me that she's hitting this harmony. So, And I didn't want her to see the light that I was recording because she would have stopped immediately. So I have this video, and I'm singing in it terribly, so please don't judge. But I have her singing the harmony, and then we get home.
It's not even so much a harmony on that song as it is like a call and answer, right? It's like the backup vocal part of the song. But I mean, for her to be locked in on that at that age, like most kids, when they're going to listen to this stuff, they're focusing on that main line. They're not listening to the background. But again, like we'd said with Brian, we were always big on just breaking down every part of the song, right? And we'd be like, oh, did you hear that? Did you hear this? So I don't think we've ever broke down Oasis Wonderwall, but I'm sure that's just something she was doing in her own head on one of our, very few drives because they're COVID children.
Yeah. But I ended up getting home and I told you, and I was like, do you think you could do it again for Dad? And she looks at me, she goes, no. I was like, okay, well, that was really frustrating. Good thing I have it recorded. So I showed it to you, and then you had her in the shower later that night. And I guess she
can't resist singing in the shower. Nobody can.
No kid can.
So I started singing Oasis, and then she started hitting it back to me, and I was like, oh, that's so beautiful. So I said, maybe you're gonna be the one that saves me. And after all, that's something we just really started encouraging, right? And she would never do it for me. Like, bring out my guitar, and I'd try to get her to do it, and she'd be like, nope. Ellie, you gonna sing for me today? Nope.
She would do that, like, lock eyes. She still does it to this day. Like, we'll be like, hey, you want to sing this song with me? And she's like, nope. And then she'll lock eyes with you, and then just kind of, like, slowly.
Well, that's usually when I ask her to go, like, learn something. I'll be like, hey, you learn the lyrics to this? And she'll be like, yeah. And then, can you look at your iPad so you can play this with me? She'll be like, and just slowly back away.
Like, not saying
anything. And I'm thinking, oh, she's going to get her iPad. And then 15 minutes later, where's Ella? Well, yeah, she got me again.
She's not coming back.
She's not coming back. She never meant to go get the iPad. She was just slipping away while making eye contact with me. So that's who she is. Yep. And we've come to accept it.
It's frustrating as it is.
So the next thing that we started getting into, because she was really into that Alanis Morissette thing.
Right.
I was like, let me see if I can just jump back onto that, right?
Right.
Because that obviously interested her enough to, get her sing. She would belt it every time it was in the car.
Every time.
So we're like, all right, let me just do that. So I learned that part on guitar, and I was like, all right, let's do it. Let's see what happens. And I have the recording of us doing that at Christmas.
Yeah, it was like she had some Christmas thing that day at school, and so she's got like reindeer ears on, or
we were doing in front of a Christmas tree, and it was like our third take doing it.
Yeah, it wasn't that long.
Yeah, I think I said that at the beginning of the video, but
and you can hear because you messed up one time or something. You're like, third take because Dad messed up on whatever. Yeah.
But she gets the lyrics wrong. It's Chardonnay.
Wish she never learned the right words.
But like it's cute and it's beautiful, and you can hear. I harmonize with her on this one, but you can really hear the power in her voice even at this age of just being able to keep that note steady enough for me to come in and to not get influenced by my note, which is another really tough thing for kids to do. It's tough for you to do.
I can't do it. Yeah.
So for her to not be influenced by that too is cool, but we'll just put that one here. Take 3 because of Dad. Ready?
Yes. An old man turns 98. He won the lottery, and now the next day it's like black in your Chardonnay. It's like a different part of 2 minutes too late. Isn't it ironic? It's like rain on Wednesday. It's free ride.
And then from there, it just kind of like we didn't know what to do with
Like
her.
it escalated so quickly, but also like like you said, we had no idea what to do, and we're like, I don't.
She won't listen to us, right?
Right, like I don't know how to like help her.
Yeah, like we know that she has these amazing abilities, but like she won't perform them for us.
Right.
She
It's
won't let
not
us
like
teach her. I
Brian.
can't be like, hey, come look at this. Let me show you how to do this. Because she's like, no, I don't want to do that.
It's like not like Brian with like his party tricks where we'd be like, hey, let's show off all your cool stuff, and she's like, no, nothing. I mean, no, she doesn't keep peer pressure, I guess.
She does not cave to peer pressure.
Which I guess is a good thing, but super frustrating as adults.
She's in her own world
All the time.
all the time. So we try our best. And like I said, when we were talking about Brian, I do not push. I strongly encourage sometimes, but I back off before I feel like I'm pressuring them.
Well, like remember that one time we were in our garage and we had our neighbors over, and it was our nephew and some of our neighbors, and we wanted her to sing, and we very strongly encouraged her to sing. She was like, I don't want to sing in front of all these people, and it was like basically
That's when
family.
I had to pay her the dollar.
Right. But it was like they were all basically family to us, like in one way or the other. And then we were like, okay, well, what if you just didn't face them? Like, look the other way and sing. And so that's what she did. She ended up just turning around. And like I had read something that Adam Levine started that way too.
Yeah, you read it. I don't know.
Yeah, I read it in the Cradle to Stage that he had stage fright, so he basically would face the other way until I guess he got comfortable and then was able to turn.
So we kind of hit a stopping point, I guess, with her. She just wouldn't do anything. We would always give her access. She was constantly singing. I was trying to introduce her to new songs. She just wasn't doing it. So we got to finally move to Florida.
Yep.
And when Brian was starting bass lessons, I was like, all right, what do you want to do? I was like, you want to play piano? Do you want to play guitar? She's like, nope, 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 nope.
Didn't know what she wanted to do, so
I was like, do you want to do voice? She goes, yeah, I'd like to sing.
well, okay.
I was like, all right, cool. I was like, what do you want to sing? She goes, I want to do like rock. I was like, of course you would. All right,
That's okay.
that's fine. We got a place up the street. They'll take care of it. So, first teacher she had, Z, super sweet. And Z was more of a show tunes, I think.
Right, like
And
yeah.
while Ella learned a lot from her, I think Ella was getting bored with the song because I think Ella wanted to do Zombie at one point.
Yeah, by the
like,
Cranberries.
And Z was like, nah, we're going to do Tomorrow.
That'll come out tomorrow.
And Ella learned it and she did it beautifully.
But it was very begrudgingly.
Yeah, she wanted to. She's a rocker. She was like, "Can we do Presidents of the United States of America? Can we do?" And I'm like, I don't want to tell her no. Why can't she? Why can't we?
Why do we have to?
So that was kind of. I don't know. I felt like I was losing her at one point, so I went to the place and I was like, "Hey, look, we got to switch. Like, I like her teacher, but like ultimately, this isn't about the teacher's ego. It's about my child's musical journey, right?" And
I mean, it was like the same conversation right around the same time that we switched Brian. So
yeah.
I think they kind of saw it coming from both sides. So.
Yeah. So we were like on the verge of just like, I really wanted somebody that would teach Ella whatever Ella wanted to learn. Right. That is what I originally told them. Is like, I want Ella to be able to be like, come in one day and be like, I want to learn this song. Or one day if she wanted somebody that could teach her piano, somebody to teach her ukulele. And they're
just like, wherever she wanted to flick to.
They were like, yeah, good luck. And then they were like, actually, we may have somebody. So they teamed us with Tracy.
Yep.
And
it was like
the second I met Tracy, I was like, bingo, that is Ella vibe all day long. And yes. I'll put a video of them doing one of the first harmonies that Tracy worked on with her, which was America. It was by a different band, but it's originally by Simon and Garfunkel. Yes. I don't remember who the cover was that they were covering, but it's beautiful. And I'll drop that one here.
So they've all come. Can you do that? Sing. They've all come. Do that one, okay? They've all come to look for America. They've all come to look for it. I watch it. You did. That was really good.
To me every single day.
It's hard to it's hard to like keep if I'm on one. But hopefully I can stay.
You do not have to explain it to me.
It's hard. It's definitely hard. But she got.
And then, so Tracy worked with her on like kind of scales in having Ella find the intervals or whatever, and that helped out tremendously with Ella's ear.
So much.
To where like over Christmas we started singing, and I would be like, okay, babe, I want you to sing the harmony with me. So we were singing "Oh Holy Night," and she was doing her Ella shit where she didn't want to like sing with me. So I'm like, all right, you're gonna sing the harmony.
Yep.
And you're like, all right, cool. So
I'll do what I can, but
So you're like belting it, and it was fine. But Ella's listening, and she's at the end. She just goes, "Boo!"
And I was like, "Ouch!"
And I was like, "Okay, we don't do that. Like that's no matter what, you never boo somebody, right?"
It does not matter who they are.
And she goes, "Okay, but I mean, I can do it better."
And we're like, "Okay."
And I was like, "Okay."
Put your money where your mouth is now.
Yeah, you've never like.
She didn't know the song.
She wasn't taught it. She didn't work on it with Tracy yet.
And she'd really wanted to do caroling. And so, like, I think she probably just, like every Ella excursion, is she learned it on her own. So
I hit it. I started singing, same thing I did with you. She hit the harmony, and it made me cry.
Yep.
I had straight up tears. Like I had full goosebumps, and it was.
She thought she did something wrong.
Yeah.
Like afterwards, she was like, "What? Like what happened?" And we were like,
"I just wasn't expecting
you
it.
won."
Like, it was so
like
it was so pretty, and unexpected from somebody that was so confident.
Right, that she could do better. And I'm like, not that I didn't think that she couldn't, but it was more just like, all right, you're gonna talk smack, like.
But it was also like a culmination of like everything that we had kind of thought about her, right?
Yeah,
like,
for sure.
We were like, we think she has this gift, and everybody's like, oh, okay, whatever. And that doesn't really mean anything to me. And then all of a sudden she hits it, and we're just like, oh, yes, there it is. There's the proof in the pudding. You know what I mean? Yeah. Everything that we'd been asking. And we have, I think I have that clip.
Yeah, we have to have it somewhere. I mean, it wasn't,
but
like a year ago. Not even.
Right. Here it is. So after that, it was just like taking off, and we did end up stopping lessons, and we can go into that another time. But she continued with me, and I feel like we're at a place now where she listens to me, but she only listens to me because she knows that I give her the credit for things.
Right.
She is the person in the family that we now call in to ask about harmony.
She's like,
what was the song we were doing?
Wagon Wheel. Wasn't it Wagon Wheel?
Yeah.
Yeah, it was Wagon Wheel. And I'm kind of playing it on the piano. I mean, like, I kind of know it. I mean, I've listened to the song enough, but I just couldn't quite find the harmony on it.
You kept on moving into my range.
Right. And then she was in her room, door closed.
Listening to another song.
Totally, like, in her own world. And we just were like, hey, can you come here? And she was like, yeah, what you need? And we're like, you're like, hey, Mom can't find her note. Can you help? And she was like, sure. And didn't ask what song it was.
I just started playing. And she hit the note.
And then she just goes,
okay. And she goes, all right. And then she just walks off. I have that. I have the camera footage because it was on Ring. So I'll put that here.
It was so funny.
Mom can't find her note. You over?
What?
So rock me, mama, like a wagon wheel. Rock me, mama, any way you feel. Hey, mama, rock me. So rock me. But that's...
And we literally just like turned and looked at each other. We were just like, what? Like, she didn't even know what song we were singing. Like, such an Ella
It is
thing.
a very common occurrence for her to just come in and just like mic drop us. The other time that she did that, right, was Lisa Loeb. She is a huge Lisa Loeb fan.
Day.
She loves it. And it's funny because like it's a song that I recommended to her.
And she immediately was like, absolutely not.
She was like, no. I was like, I want you to learn the words because you need to do something. So go learn the words.
And she said no.
And she said no. And then we were, listening to...
Lisa Loeb on Sirius XM. She was hosting the whatever it was. There was some sort of thing she was hosting on Sirius XM.
This was like months after I
did. Many months. We had not heard anything about her listening to this.
On this.
And then, like, she goes, "Hi guys, I'm Lisa Loeb." And then Ella goes, "Oh, she sings the lullabies that I listen to." And we were like,
"It's like, no, she does not."
No. And she was like, "No, she does."
She sings that song "Stay" that I tried to get you to
and she
learn.
goes, "No, it's the lullabies. I listen to them on my I can't say the word." And they're always listening. And so we were like, "No, she doesn't sing that. She sings Stay." And she's like, "I'm telling you."
She goes, "She sings both."
And we were like,
so
she's
you looked it up.
Adamant about it.
You looked it up and you were like, "Yeah, Lisa Loeb's got a lullaby album."
We're like,
"Oh, so why you know about that?" She goes, "Well, I was learning Stay, and
then it recommended me.
And then it kept recommending me to listen to this." And
we were like, "Wait, you listen to Stay?" She goes,
I was like, "How well do you know it?" She goes, "I know it." I was like, "How much of it?" "I know it."
We're like, "There's a lot of words."
Yeah, I know it. So apparently, like in the mornings, like she'll wake up, she'll like listen, she'll listen to it, and she'll watch it on her robot, and the lyrics pop up on there. And she'd just been reading them, and so I have a video that Lisa Loeb actually shared this one.
Yes, I was at soccer practice with Brian. You were like, "We did a thing," and I was like, "Okay," which was quite a bit. So you showed me this video, and I was like, I didn't know that she fully knew this song, let alone like that you guys took. We were gone for like maybe an hour and a half.
And I cannot get much out of my kids. We'll talk about this in another episode at some point, but we do 5 minutes. That is as much as I feel like I can expect from them. We do 5-minute bursts. So I was able to accomplish this one little video in 5 minutes. Yep. There was no previous, trying beforehand.
That was the first take?
There was several takes. But it was all within that 5-minute period.
I gotcha. Okay. It wasn't like take a pause, come back later. That was it. That 5 minutes.
Yeah, I mean, it may have extended over to like 10, possibly.
Right.
I'm telling you, I do not have her attention span for much longer than 5.
No.
So I knew that like, even if I know that there's something that's going to take me a minute to like load up or something, I'll walk away and be like, "Hey, go do this," and I'll walk away from her so that she feels like she has no sense of time. So that's like 20 minutes to her. You know what I mean?
She's not
gone for 2 minutes. So, but it just breaks up that whatever in her head, and it works. But I was able to accomplish that in such a short amount of time, and Lisa Loeb posted it for her.
Shared it on her Facebook. Like, it was pretty awesome.
She was so excited about that. All right, I want you to put yourself in the mid-90s. All right, you're angsty. All right, you've got cat glasses. All right, you're standing in an empty apartment. Okay?
Okay.
You are Lisa Loeb right now. Are you ready?
Yes.
All right.
sinful, and I thought that I don't belong. And now that I am leaving, now I know that I did something wrong 'cause I missed you. Yeah, I missed you. You say don't listen hard, don't pay attention to the distance that you're running. Do anyone, anywhere. Don't understand if you really can't only hear it negative. No, bad.
But
And her Instagram too, right?
and her Instagram, yeah.
Yeah, it's pretty cool.
So Ella's got a long way to go still.
Yes.
But she has a tremendous knowledge and a tremendous ear. And we are super excited to just kind of see what
she's gonna do.
What she lands, like if she even lands on an instrument. I mean she wants to play everything.
She's picked up Brian's bass. She's kind of...
Well, and she learns everything quickly. Like I've taught her a bass line. I've taught her, things on piano. She knows how to play chords. But she's just not interested enough to like continually put the effort into it.
She'll hear something though, like she'll hear a song and be like, "Oh, I can do that real quick," and then she'll run over to the piano and
she writes lyrics. Though she has a lyric book.
She has like a little. Like,
I'm not even looking at them, y'all. I'm trying to be good. I mean,
but she brought it out to a neighbor.
She was gonna recite her lyrics to a neighbor. That we were like, no, we're not doing that.
We're like, we have not proofread these. Nope. Like,
got to recite them to me first before you recite them.
They got to go through the parents first. But like, she was just like, oh yeah, She was like, I guess singing for the neighbor across the street, and then she was like, I have lyrics. Let me go get them. And then off she runs, and we're like, what the heck is she talking about? And she brings out this journal, like the composition notebook from like previous school years that I guess never got like filled up. So she'd been just writing lyrics. I'm like, oh boy, like don't know what they are, but they're something.
No, that's not true. We did look at them afterwards,
but
they were like not groundbreaking.
But she was what,
just
in first grade, second grade?
The fact that she's cognizant enough to like
write her thoughts down about that kind of stuff. Like,
yeah. I don't know. It's cool to us, and I just want to see what other people that have gone through these experiences do. So please, we're starting to line up our first interviews for this stuff.
Yeah.
And
maybe we'll already have a first interview by the time this comes out. Who knows? We could have no interview. Don't know.
And I'm sure there's things that we missed, and we may end up having another episode where it's kind of filling in the blanks.
The ages.
We try to keep things even with the kids,
because
they
it's
want
all
us
competition.
But it's hard to do sometimes, and we're trying to keep it nice and naturally flowing. So if we gave more attention to one or the other, then tough shit, guys. Make sure that you follow us now on Facebook and on YouTube.
Yeah.
And just
Instagram too, right?
Instagram also, Future Rock Legends. And wait and see what happens. I think we're going to have some pretty cool things coming up.
Kind of like watch the progression of them too, because like it's cool to watch them discover something and like see that joy in them realizing that they've discovered something.
And the encouragement from everybody,
Absolutely.
If anything that we post, just great job,
We'll read it back to them.
We'll read it back to them, and that just it sounds so much better coming from anybody other than us, right?
Exactly.
So thank you again for listening.
Yeah.
And we hope that you'll stick around, and we hope this is our second one. We hope there's a third. It could not be a third. This could be it. This might be it. But
we hope not.
We hope not. If there is a third, we'll definitely post it, and you definitely should listen to it.
So stay tuned.
Thank you.